Okay, so it's going to be on Ohana. Starting down here on the bottom right hand side is Mouse. You can, if you see it on that stream, you might be able to, hang on, let's have a look. Look at Jazz. Got a little bit of a mouse problem there. Apparently it's not working. That's not good. Wait! It's all fixed. Alright, so we should be okay. So, on the bottom right-hand side, as our Blue Zerg player, he's down one game at the moment, but of course we'll see how well he can go in this one. Of course, he's a fantastic player. It is NVJazbas. And up in the top left-hand side, playing for Team Frenetic Array, winning that previous game, doing a good job fending off the Targa Banes, and then just coming in with a whole bunch of roaches and saying no to Banes. It is Petraeus. Alright, so once again, let me just fix up the old starboard. Yeah. Hang on. There you go, looking all good. So as I mentioned, previous games on this map between these two have seen that Jerry build with the hidden Zerglings inside the main. Pretend that you've got some issues with, you know, you're actually trying to drone up or something like that, and then perhaps you will be able to catch your opponent off guard with quite a lot of lings and just sort of just run in. That's pretty good. We're changing the table apparently, as you can see there. It's a little bit shaky for Jazz. He's look at that. That is insane. It's like the table just has no legs or something like that. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, so yeah, in one of the prior games that I did a cast off with these two players, we had some hidden stuff going on from Jazbas, and it was pretty cool. So we'll have to see if he's going to go with something like that. See you guys talking about. It's a best of 7. Sorry, hang on. I'll just fix that up now on the scoreboard. It's a best of 7, not 5, you silly duck. Oh, whoops. Okay, there you go. Alright. Okay, so we're back in the game. We're all good. The stable table has been stabilized, and we've got a just a pull coming out from both players. Of course, just pull first, make sure they're all nice and safe, as we mentioned in our previous game. Other than that, it's pretty much the same, as you can see on the production tab. Just all keeping tabs of what's going on there. It looks like both players, of course, will head down to the nat, pick up a hatchery, and just get that production going once that hatch is down. But yeah. Pet goes into ultras on this map every time I've seen. Alright. That'll be interesting to see. But yes, so Naturals getting prepared. Of course, both players will be able to start their queens. Everything at this stage is virtually identical. As we can see, we have a slight deviation, or just a slightly quicker extractor there. I don't think it's actually anything too crazy coming out of Jazbas here. And as we will see, he's actually going to continue to drone. He's going to drone up a little bit higher than where Petraeus was up to, because, actually Petraeus was continuing to drone up a little bit higher. He's now going to get a couple of lings. They are going to be a little bit after where Jazbas got his, but as we can see, it's not going to matter too much, because, as I said, virtually everything's the same for the moment. And obviously, we'll have to keep an eye on how much gas comes out of the various extractors. We'll have to keep an eye on, you know, all the kinds of units that come out from both players. And of course, whether Jazbas will try something a little bit sneaky. Yeah, it is. Yeah, guys. I suppose I'm 2 minutes ahead of you guys, but yeah, it is best of 7. Sorry. I think I fixed up the starboard, so it's best of 7. So it will, of course, mean that whoever gets to 4 wins will be the epic winner with a giant check. We will have interviews after the matches to see if, just to sort of have a chat to both of the players. What we're going to do is I'm going to try and pipe that through my stream so you don't have to move a finger, because I know that could be really annoying to try and move. Just interesting to see Jazbas protecting his main, making sure that there is no sneaky shenanigans going on, and he won't allow any of Petraeus' units to get inside. As we can see, though, a Baneling Nest is going to go off from both players, and that's actually at around about the same sort of time. So I don't think we're going to see any sort of off-guard sort of moments here from either player. So continuing to drone up, as we can see, JazbZ up to 26, so he does have a couple more about to pop out. Meanwhile, for Petraeus, he's also sitting up there at 27 with a lot of lings about to come out from him. So he may be suspecting something a little bit sneaky here. This was a similar kind of thing that JazbZ did in the game that I was mentioning, where he was actually doing that, the hidden roach sort of style. He actually had a queen on the ramp, a couple of lings protecting it as well, and then just came across the map with some very surprising roaches, and actually caught Petraeus off guard. So we'll see how what Petraeus is going to do here. He may just sort of recognize, or this may be his own little attack. He does have speed finishing up now, which is quite nice for him. He's going to drone a little bit behind this, so I don't think he's going to go too hard at what's going on. But will JazbZ be ready? He does have a couple of Banes just morphing in. They're going to drop in just in time. Looks like the Bane's about to pop up. Oh, there it is, a beautiful catch on around about 7 of those lings there. That puts an end to any sort of aggression that Petraeus was going to attempt there. Lings will have to run home with their tail between their legs and just sort of have to sit back for the moment. He did drone up behind all of that. As I mentioned, lots of drones popping out for Petraeus, so he's going to have a nice healthy drone count. It's not as if he went crazy and went for a big response there. And looks like we will get the extra gases 3 and 4 at the natural here for Petraeus. He's also got 3 and 4 down at the nat of JazbZ as well. And yeah, so we're just sort of stabilizing for the moment. Looks like Petraeus is going to have a quick look to see what his opponent is up to. Perhaps he'll be able to get some information on what's going on. Does see a couple of lings just pop out now, so Jazz is just sort of getting ready. Perhaps he'll have his own sort of aggression coming along. But as we can see, Petraeus is going to grab that third base and try and get his economy going. And of course, Jazz has also done the same sort of thing. Now, a common thing to see here in the Zerg versus Zerg matchup is a couple of Banes protecting that third base. Beautiful grab there by Petraeus. Actually gets his own little win with some Banelings there, but it looks like there will be a little bit of knife fighting going on down here in the middle of the map. Some of these lings are very red here for Jazz, so he is going to lose this fight. Will have to retreat for the time being. Does have a couple of his own Banes prepared. There is one here just at the third to make sure this is all protected. And as we can see, both players are going to get quite a lot of lings out, but they're also both going for Spire. And JazbZ has gotten his out a little bit quicker than Petraeus, so we are going to switch into Muta versus Muta. We'll have to see who is going to, if they're going to commit to the Mutas, and whether they, so obviously if you're going to see a committal to Mutas, you want to see things like those upgrades, the Carapace helping out there with the Mutas, and looks like, there he goes, we're sort of pushing forward, grabbing some of those links, Jazz grabbing a couple of them, not too many. And obviously both the third bases are going to get established quite easily from both of these players. No real way to sort of come across and attack your opponent at this point, just given the fact that at the moment you're going to invest quite heavily in those lings. There are going to be Banes to stop any type of counter-aggression from the lings that might come through, and of course that means that you're not really going to get too much done. So Mutas are now on the way. A couple are already popping out for JazbZ. He's got 4 out on the map, another 4 just about to finish up here as well, so he's going to go for a total of 8. Meanwhile for Petraeus, he's got 10 building right now, so he is going to have a slight lead in the Muta count right now. He's going to send one across just to have a, well, I don't know what this one's doing, it's just having a quick look to see if he can find anything, but the lings now pushing into the third base of Petraeus. We're getting a little bit of lag there, that was a little bit odd, and it looks like this hatchery may go down because there are just so many lings whacking away at that thing. The Muta's not really responding too quickly. In fact, they will get there just in time. It looks like that base will stay up, and of course with that slightly higher Muta count, JazbZ will be forced to retreat for the time being while he recuperates all his forces. He's got quite a lot of lings now coming to the rest of the fight here. 7 Mutas only for JazbZ. He's got he's fighting against 12 in fact of Petraeus, so Petraeus is going to go a lot higher in that count. It looks like the lings trying to get across to take down that hatchery. It does only have 200 health left over, and that's not going to be going too well there for Petraeus if he does lose that. Meanwhile, both players still continuing to sit at a sort of mid-level drone range. We've got JazbZ sitting on a total of 45 right now, going up to 48 now, and Petraeus is currently sitting at 47. So things will stabilize just for the moment. As we can see, Carapace now coming up for Petraeus. He's going to be able to protect those mutas a bit, so we'll probably see him stick with the mutatech for the time being, with that the mushroom house just pumping away, trying to get that upgrade researched. And now, as we'll see, Petraeus will start being able to control the map a lot more. He'll be able to pick off these stray overlords on the map. As we can see, Jazbas just trying to retreat some of them for now, because he knows that he will start to lose those, and it's, of course, not very good to lose those overlords. You don't want to have to rebuild those. That's not cool at all. Meanwhile, as we can see, the drone count's still sitting sort of at that sort of lower than expected sort of range, but they are both starting to get to that point now where it is going to be quite a lot of gas coming in, quite a lot of minerals. It's currently 50 drones for Jazbas to the 59 of Petraeus, so Petraeus does have a slight lead at the moment. Jazbas will continue to pump up that muta count. He's sitting at 19. He is a little bit behind where Petraeus is at. It's only a lead of around about 5 for Petraeus. He's up at 24 mutas. He will have that Carapace upgrade quite a lot quicker than Jazz will have, but he should be able to perhaps get some damage done with those. We'll see. Perhaps there will be a fight going through the middle of the map here, but the muta's still just flying around. The Lings trying to avoid as best as they can. It looks like they do know they're in a little bit of trouble here. The jig is up. Will he be able to get inside the third base and get some damage done here, or is he just going to fight and try and get some Ling kills on the ground? It looks like he tried to just sort of hang around and get some kills on the Lings, but back inside the main, it looks like the mutas of Jazz got inside, actually got quite a lot of damage done. The muta count decimated there by Jazbas, doing a beautiful job, just sweeping through, did catch off quite a lot of those. He did a fantastic job. He distracted me. That's how good those Lings were. So Jazz is going to sit in a little bit of a worker lead. It's not a huge one right now. They are, in fact, even right now. So it looks like Petraeus is going to try and push through. Of course, he does have an upgrade lead for the moment. +1 is already finished for him, but it looks like we will have an interesting situation. We're trading third bases. Lings at the third of Petraeus. Meanwhile, Lings and mutas at the third base of Jazz. Not to mention this ridiculous amount of mutas. 30 mutas there for him, and he'll be able to take down that base with ease. Meanwhile, it looks like Jazbas is committed to his own little trade here. He's got his own 26 mutas inside the natural base of Petraeus. So both these guys just deciding it is go time. It is time to throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. They're just going to absolutely rip apart each of their bases. As we can see, Ling's getting inside. The drones have nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. So both these players in a very interesting situation. Of course, the overlords start going down for each of them as well. Petraeus is going to move inside the main, going to take down that queen. He's going to then go for the spire to make sure his opponent cannot catch up in the muta count, but the jig is up for him because there are already 33 mutas out for Jazz, and he's already split up his forces. We got Lings inside the main, taking care of the rest of those. The hatchery at the third is also dead, so the count of mutas sitting at 33 for Jazbas. He's got a lead of 1 against Petraeus. He's got 32, but the thing is, Petraeus, did he actually finish it off? No, he's still got +1 to the flyer attacks is on the way, but Jazz, he needs to hit that spire. If he lets Petraeus get to a lead in the upgrades, that may not bode well for him later on in the game. But both players have finished off quite a lot of the hatcheries. As we can see, Petraeus is actually down all of his hatcheries. He's got no hope of being able to try and rebuild his bases, I think, because he actually has 25 minerals. So Jazz looking very, very comfortable right now. He's just going to sit back home, build a whole bunch of spores to make sure this hatchery, the lair I should say, is quite safe, and then he's just going to sit back and say, alright, come at me. You know, he has a slight lead in the upgrades. We got 1-1, and it looks like Petraeus may be in a bit of trouble here, because once these spores finish up, what is Petraeus going to do? He's currently got a unit count sitting at 34 mutas, which is quite nice. Of course, if you look at that in a normal sense of it, it is a very nice position to be in, but when you don't actually have a hatchery, you can't make a hatchery, and you've only got a couple of buildings left on the map, it puts you in a very troublesome spot, especially when your opponent has a relatively even count of mutas, not to mention the spores that are thrown on the ground there. Baneling's inside the mineral line to protect against the Lings as well, and it looks like we will have a final confrontation here. A little bit difficult to tell what's going on, but as you can see, it looks like Jazbas is going to win this fight. The Banelings on the ground were able to soak up some of the damage here, and in fact, some of these mutas not even firing at the other mutas, so Petraeus is going to lose that fight. And we will go to 1-1 as a score for the moment between these two players. Wow, what an interesting trade. I haven't actually seen a sort of mass muta versus muta fight like that for quite a while. That was a really, really cool one to see. So pretty well done. We'll have to see how both these players are going to respond after that. Of course, it is a best of 7. Thank you, of course, to Telstra Clear and Playtech for helping out with the event. You guys are fantastic. If you are in the local area, make sure you head down. There's still space. You can go and sit down. You can, you know, see the players after the game, ask them about certain things. Of course, if you want to ask some questions in the chat, please go through, and you can post some in there yourself, and I'll be happy to answer. Keep in mind, I do have a little bit of a delay on the stream, so I will answer as quickly as I can.